So let's go ahead and get started. Um, do you remember last time when we had our webinar that you were able to get a collector's card of one of our very own mascots? Who remembers that? Hands up. Did anybody print off their collector card? Thumbs up. Yes. And so, we were talking about some fun ways to keep those. I have a little laminator, but you can also kind of sometimes a real thrifty way of laminating something is to get like packing tape and to like do like a little bit of packing tape on each side, and that kind of laminates it too if you had some if you printed it out with paper. But you will also get another collector's card today. So by finishing the webinar today, you will also get another collector's card, and it's a different uh, character. It's Violet today. So last time was our owl mascot, and today is our little bunny mascot, and she's just so cute. And so you'll be able to collect this card at the end of your webinar. And so make sure you stay tuned through the whole webinar, and at the very end we'll share. And I did make sure, I do remember checking those those permissions, that everybody will be able to view the link that gives you access to this collector's card. You can print it out and have it and keep it, and it's just, it's a fun way of kind of, I like to collect things. So but and don't forget that we'll have two more, and you'll have the opportunity to collect more cards. If there is a mascot that you are super interested in that you would like to see on a future collector's card, make sure that you let us know, and that maybe we can see about having them as our next collector's card. We have all the cards, so if you have a preference, let me know. Okay, so think to yourself, what is a greeting? What does that mean to you? Just think about that for a second. A greeting is a way to speak to someone that you just see, like, oh no, you're at the store and you're like, hey, or oh hi, how are you? We shouldn't greet everybody in the same way. There are different ways that we should greet each person, okay, that we are introduced to or that we see. So an informal greeting is a type of greeting that we typically use for friends or peers, like coworkers or teammates. If you have a soccer teammate, or if you see a friend at the store, if you see a friend at church, something like that, you could say something like, "Morning, how's it going? Hey, how was your weekend? Hey, everyone." Maybe it's a group of friends, right? A group of teammates. What's up, team? Hey, hey, something like that. So practice, if you have somebody near you, practice. Practice one of those that you feel comfortable. You're walking up to your baseball practice, or you're walking up to your youth group at church, and you're just like, "Morning, how's it going?" All that's informal. We they're our friends, we know who they are. There's no need to introduce ourselves. We already know who they are. So that's what an informal greeting is. Okay, so let's look at some examples. So we have find the informal greeting. For A, or for the first one, we have, "Good morning, Mr. Brooks. I hope you are doing well today." Or is the informal greeting, "What's up? How's life treating you?" Is it the first one or the second one? Which one's the informal greeting? Informal. Which one would you say to a friend, to someone you knew, or to a teammate? Would it be one, "Good morning, Mr. Brooks," or two, "What's up?" Yes, it's two. Very good. So an informal greeting is something you're friends with them. There's no need to be so formal. There's no need to be so Mr. and Mrs. and um sir, and all those things. There's no need to say all those things because they're your friends. It's informal greeting. "Hey, what's up? How are you?" And that's polite, for an informal greeting. All right, let's look at the next one. So, when you are greeting somebody, think to yourself, why might you want to use their first name? Why do you think that's important? Sometimes, right? Because if in an informal setting, why might you want to use their first name? Think to yourself. Hmm. So using someone's first name makes the conversation feel more personal and approachable. So maybe somebody is, like, sometimes I just, if I see somebody and I'm not expecting to see somebody, I'll kind of get a little like, "Whoo," like I didn't know I was about to have to, like I'm talking to somebody. But when someone uses my name, oh hi Jana, or hi, and I'm like, oh, it is good to see you. You just kind of relax a little bit, and you're like, oh, you know, it shows. It shows that they see you as an individual and not just a title or role. So, you know, um, maybe you maybe you're working in a group project and someone has a particular role in your group project. And if you use their name instead of like, hey, you're in charge of the artwork, Mr. Artwork person, but if you use their name, it makes them feel like, hey, we're on a team, and we're working together, and it's not so much like, we have individual roles, and that's how I know you, and um, it shows respect and clarifies who you are speaking to. So maybe if there's more than one person, you use their name when you approach the group, then everybody knows exactly who you're talking to. And in some cases, that's not necessarily required. If you're greeting the whole group, you say, hey group, like, hey everybody. That's one thing. But if you would go up to a group and you just go like, hey, did you turn on that paper for our, maybe a better way would say like, hi Stacy, um, it's so great to see you. Did you get a chance to turn in our group paper? Like, or something like that. So making sure that we speak directly to somebody so there's no confusion if we need to talk to just one person. And just use the name once. Sometimes, make sure the greeting fits the relationship too. You wouldn't call a teacher by her first name or something like that. But you could, and also using name just once, it feels a little, uh, I guess, a little awkward to be like, hi Jana, I really need Jana, I really need you to do this assignment for me, Jana, because Jana, I need you to, it just feels a little too much. Might make someone be like, what's, I don't know. Uh, but anyway, just using the name once is enough, and that way they don't feel uncomfortable because they're like, why are they using my name so much? um but how should I use someone's first name? So now let's look at the examples and let's see which one's best. So, number one, good morning, Ava. How are you today? Or number two, John, I just wanted to say that your report, John, was great. Neither is like a bad way of saying anything, but which one is better? Which one is a better one? One or two? Ah, yes, I see a lot of one. Yes, because they only say Ava's name once, and it's like I said, it's not John's talking the little blurb about John isn't bad or wrong. It's just, it's better just to just say their name once, and you don't want to make them feel uncomfortable with saying their name too many times in a short period of time. So yes, absolutely. Number one, very good. Okay, let's see what's next. Oh, I love this part. Okay, so I moved. This is one of my favorites. I moved it from the bottom, from the end to the front, so we could just do like 30 seconds to a minute of this, and just kind of give us a brain break and kind of give us a second to not have to think for just a second. And it's a lot of fun.
Just kidding.
No worries. I can still dance. So make sure you turn up your volume for this one.
Red light, stop, don't move now, hold the time. Green light, now we move, you gotta ride. Red light, stop, don't move now, hold the time. Green light, now we move, you gotta ride. Welcome to the red light, green light games. Red is when you don't move. Green is when you get to groove. Red, hold it. Green.
Hey, go ahead, Jim.
Red. Green. Red light, stop, don't move now, hold the time.
That's cute.
Yes, that was fun. And I think that song is actually a lot of fun. It goes through a lot of different other colors too. Okay, now I'm winded. I need a little minute. Everybody check their heart rate. Okay. All right, and so now let's talk about family introductions. And say you're with your brother, your sister, or with cousins, or you're with someone that's in your family, and you are going to a casual setting. And how might you need to introduce them? So, in a formal setting, so we've talked about informal settings, and this is just kind of like when you know the person already, and you are your teammates or your friends, or you're at your youth group, or you're with your peers, right? Now, in a formal setting, you might be at a formal dinner, or you might be somewhere where it requires a little bit more. Um, I would say more manners, but I mean, there's manners in different levels here. So in a formal setting that, has anyone ever been to like a formal dinner where it's like you have all the different like silverwares and it's like, I've actually never been to a formal dinner, but I know, but I have been to a tea before. And so, I kind of associate a formal setting with like a tea or, something like that. Um, but you might say, I'd like to introduce you to my brother Michael and my sister Sophia. So you say, their relationship to you, like brother, and then you say their name. And you make sure I sometimes will forget to do the other side of that. I'll say, "Oh, hi. This is I would like to introduce you to my brother Michael and my sister Sophia." And then you might turn to your brother and sister and say, "This is, Jana." And so then you say both of their names, and you might say, "Well, this is my teammate Jana," and then you share both of their names, and then they both know. Sometimes the other person will kind of like step in and just say, "Oh, hello, my name is so you can kind of just kind of see how the situation is, and it's not, they didn't do wrong by interrupting you from introducing them too. They're just kind of like helping you out with the conversation. Okay. Now, with a casual setting, you could just, you walk up in your youth group and you bring a family member along and you say, "Oh, like, hey, this is my brother Jake." Perfectly fine. That's great manners. You're introducing them in a more casual words, with more casual words, but you do the same thing. You tell the relationship and you tell the person's name. And then in an informal setting, everyone, like maybe you're just going to tell the group so you don't have to go to each person. That's fine. Sometimes in an informal setting, you wouldn't go to a nice sit down tea and say, "Hey, everyone." You would just, but in a informal setting, and you go, I like to think with like a small group, like with maybe at a birthday party, and everybody at the birthday party, and it's kind of be like, "Hey, everyone, this is my cousin David." That's perfectly fine in an informal setting. And, just keep it simple and friendly and polite, and, making sure you're not like, "Hey, everybody, I need to, maybe we don't be overly silly and we're like, "Everybody, look at us. Everybody, stop what you're doing. No, don't keep, just keep it simple. This is my cousin and his name is David, All right, cool. Let's look at some examples. So now let's look at some family introductions and decide. I needed to look at the time. It's all we only have 10 minutes left. Okay. Let's look at these examples. So we have, these are my parents, Robert and Elaine, or this is my old man. Which one do you think is a good way to introduce a parent, or like a father or something? You think it's one or two? I see a lot of correct answers. Yes, yes, very good. So you say their relationship to you, which would in this case would be parents, and then their names, Robert and Elaine. Um, you know, uh, but yes, okay, so cool. All right, so introductions at a social event. So now you're at a social event where you see maybe some people that you do know, but some people that you don't know. And so here are some different ways to kind of just approach somebody that you maybe don't know. And I know that's sometimes hard for me to do. And so if you've ever been in a situation, you go to like a party, like a get together, and or maybe you go to a birthday party, but you only know the birthday person, and you don't know like any of their other friends too. And so you need to introduce yourself. I suggest you go a little bit more in the formal way first, since you don't know the person yet. But I encourage you to always try to at a social event where you don't know anybody, and you have mutual friends, go up and introduce yourself to someone who you have a mutual friendship with, right? So you say like, "Hi, my name is Jana Bennett. It's so nice to meet you. I've heard great things about this event. That's a little bit more formal. Um, here's another example. This is my friend Melissa. We go to school together. And or warm and so make sure you have a warm and confident tone. So you go into it, maybe not like, "Hi, my name is Jana Bennett. My name is Jana Bennett. It's nice to see you, I guess." So even though I'm saying nice words, I don't really have a good tone to go with the nice words, and so they don't mean as much than if I would have had a warm and confident tone when I said my introduction. Make sure to include the name and a small detail to start the conversation. So here it's so nice to meet you. Um, I've heard great things about this event. That gets the conversation started for the other person to say, I've heard the great things about this too. I heard that this was going to happen. And then that way you can start talking and getting to know a new friend, right? Um, Make sure that, like in the next one where it says, "This is my friend Melissa, we go to school together," you included the name and a small detail that gets either the conversation started, but also lets the other person know how you know them. Very good. All right, so let's look at some examples. So we have number one. Hi, I'm Sam. I moved here from Portland and I'm still getting to know the city. How are you? Or, yeah, so anyway. Is it one or two? Yes, very good. And I'm not, and sometimes I get a little stumped on what to say and I might just go, "Hi, okay, well, my name is Jana. Yeah, it's okay. Sometimes we stumble on our words. That's not like wrong or bad. It's just, uh it's not if we can, we try not to just, show indifference. We are excited to see the person and it's very nice to meet you. And one's a great example of this because it gives a little bit of a little background information about you, like, "Hi, this is my name. This is something about me." But then I ask a question so they can participate in the conversation too. So that's a great way to introduce yourself and a good greeting to get a conversation started. Let's see. Okay, so I was introduced incorrectly. Oh goodness. Has anyone ever been introduced by a friend or by maybe like maybe not like a friend, but a mutual, like an acquaintance that you have met multiple times, and maybe they introduced you with the wrong name? Has that happened to anybody? I can think of one person in particular that always calls me Janice, and I I just, I politely, but for some reason I guess they forget every time. I don't know. Or maybe they're being a little funny with me. I don't know. But they introduce be and introduced incorrectly. So the important thing to do is to not get offended, just be like, "Oh, let them finish." Maybe they say, "Oh, well, hey, this is Janice, and this is how I know Janice. I met her on the soccer team and whatever." Let them finish, and then just correct gently and with a warm tone. You don't want to be like, "My name is Jana." Okay. Maybe you just go like, "Oh, well, oh, it's so nice to meet you. My name is Jana, though." And so if you need to get in touch with me, or if you need to find my contact, my name is actually Jana. So, just correct gently and add warmth. Always assume that, they didn't mean to do that. It was just an accident. It's not a big deal. And sometimes I have just let people think my name is something else because it wasn't an appropriate time to correct, maybe it was like we were in a group setting and I was in like the audience and they were a speaker. If they mispronounced my name or said it wrong, it's fine. I'm not going to interrupt the whole conference just to let you just to make sure that they get my name right. So, but you could do it like this. You could say, "Oh, it's actually Alex, not Alan. Easy mix up. No big deal." Just, make light of it. It's fine. It's all right. And just important that we don't assume the worst, that they were doing it to be mean or anything like that.
And
Okay,
if I
let's look
could insert anything
at,
in there, I am
absolutely.
really big on encouraging everybody to correct people in advance. When it happens, just correct it when it happens. Names are so important, you guys, and you have your name for a reason. Even if they say the name correctly, but they don't pronounce it correctly, correct them. I'm like, please, is that your name? Is that how I pronounce it? Correct people. It's okay to correct people. Don't feel bad about telling them how to properly pronounce your name ever because I get it all the time. I have been called Tanishu, Tanisha, a lot of things. Tammy.
Mhm.
Yeah, just correct them when it happens. It's okay. It's your name. Your names are important. So let them know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So which one? So, really? I've already told you my name is Pam. I mean, really. Or, hi, actually, my name is Susan, not Susie. It's really nice to meet you. How long have you known Stuart? You know, so just real kind and real, but yes, make sure to correct them, and you can do it in a warm way, and and everybody continue with the conversation. So let's see, which one is it? One or two? Okay, I think I started to talk about two, like we'd already. But yes, number two. Very good. Y'all are doing so good. Very good. Okay. So when to rise. Has anyone ever thought about that? I tend to not think about this one so much, but sometimes if we're in like if we're all seated if we're all seated at dinner, like maybe there's a dinner at church or something, and but it's like a small gathering and we're all seated, and somebody enters the room. Sometimes it's appropriate to kind of uh rise if you're meeting somebody for the first time. Like, so sometimes it may be appropriate to rise from sitting when introducing yourself. So if you're well, here's another. I see the job interview. So this is a good example. So maybe you're in a waiting room and you're waiting for a job interview. I know this is elementary, but you never know. I mean, like sometimes you might get interviewed to volunteer at like the at an animal shelter or something like that. So if you're waiting for somebody and they're about to interview you, or if there's group introductions, or if you're meeting somebody um, significantly older, um, or maybe like a teacher. I just realized I misspelled something. Um, or a teacher, and they walk into the waiting room. It's polite to stand up to shake their hand and to greet them instead of just staying in your seat and just being like, "Oh, well, it's really nice to meet you." See, sometimes it's best to just to get up and be able to look at them and shake their hand that way. And so it shows respect for the person that you're meeting, and that you are confident and that you are engaged in the conversation that you're about to have. And so sometimes it's appropriate to rise and greet the person, even if you know them. Sometimes it's like, "Oh, hey, it's nice to see you," and stand up and greet them in a formal way. But if it's informal, if y'all are, in other words, if we're all sitting around and we're having like a book club and we're just kind of sitting around crisscross applesauce, we could just stay crisscross applesauce. Well, here, just sit next to me, and so it does depend on the situation, but that might be an opportunity for you to rise to greet somebody. Oh, we are running out of time. I just all the time. So, should I rise to greet them? So, a soccer teammate arrives to practice and you never met them before. Okay, that's number one. Or you are being interviewed at a local science fair by a regional judge. Which one do you think you should rise to greet the person? Do you think you should rise for a soccer teammate in one, or rise for the regional judge at a science fair? Which one do you think? Soccer teammate or regional judge? It's actually regional judge, because it shows them that you are confident in your science fair project. They are a judge. You want to show them that you're engaged in the conversation that you're about to have with them. And it's just a polite thing to do when they're about to judge your project, right? But a soccer teammate, y'all are friends, it's fine. They can come and they can sit next to you, or um if you want to make room for them, that's a polite thing to do. Like maybe there's not enough room in your like little circle, where y'all are talking about the game. You might could rise and kind of like scoot over, but it wouldn't be in a formal way of introducing yourself or greeting them. It would be a more informal of just being polite, you know. But anyway, awesome. Very good. Let's see. I am not sure what's next. Oh, how do I handshake? Okay, so we have a little bit more, but I can get through it. Okay, here we go. So how do I shake hands? So apply pressure to show confidence. Has anyone ever shake shake hands before with someone? Yeah. And so there's a good way of shaking hands. And so it says apply enough pressure to show confidence, but not so much that it feels aggressive. You don't want to like hurt anybody. Make eye contact, smile, and keep the palm perpendicular to the ground and keep it 2 to 3 seconds. So you don't want it to be like 10, 20, 30, that's just like 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Okay. And make sure your hands are dry and clean and just 1 or 2 shakes. Just 1 or 2 shakes and that's enough. You know. All right, let's look at some different examples and decide which one.
Uh-oh. Just kidding.
No worries. All right, so let's look. It says which handshake is best? Do we have A, C, well, let's see, A, B, C, or D? Which one looks the best? A, B, C, or D? Show me the letter in the screen if you think. Which one is perpendicular to the ground? Which one? Yes, C. Very good, very good. And and sometimes I look for like the like this, the thumbs kind of meet like that. You don't want, like the like you want the handshake to be like thumb to thumb, I guess is how I always think of it when I go to shake someone's hand. Um, but anyway, very good. We are a little over, but if we want to do like 10 seconds of the floor is I
Let's
mean
do
it
it. Let's
let's
do
do
it.
it. All
Let's
right.
play the floor is lava
Let's
game.
dance.
When I say the floor is lava, get off the floor. And when I say dance, dance. Dancing, dancing on the floor. Dancing, dancing, dancing. Dancing just a little bit more. But jump when I say
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
the floor is lava.
Danger.
The floor is lava.
Danger.
The floor is lava. The floor is lava.
I love that one too. So that was great. And y'all did so great today. Give a thumbs up if you learned something new about greeting someone. A thumbs up if you learned something new, right? There is the link to the card. And thank you so much. Y'all did a great job today. And it was so great to see
Yes.
you. And I hope to see you at the next webinar.
Yes, we'll have another one. When is it? November? So we'll see you guys hopefully next month. You join us so you can get all those collector cards. If you have any questions or you have issues with getting the link, you can always message myself or Mrs. Bennett. And have a great rest of your week, guys. If you have any questions, you can stick around. We have we'll stick around for a minute. But if not, God bless you all. Thank you guys for being here.